All right, traders, for those of you who follow this channel, you are well aware that I'm known for mainly scalping SPY options. However, behind the scenes, I do make swing trades and investments. And what I'm going to be doing within this lesson is I'm going to be sharing with you 2 swing trading to investing opportunities that I'm interested on for buying shares and doing leap call options. The stocks are going to be JetBlue and GameStop. In terms of this lesson, I'm simply going to be covering the price action and the technical view on why I believe they can potentially spike within time. So if you want to research other things about the companies, you can do that on your own time. This is going to be covering the technical and price action review. And if you guys want more lessons like this, let me know within the comments below. Within the future, I may be launching a company as well called Investors Society, which is going to be focused on making leap option plays and investment trades with stocks. So let's get straight into the analysis. So like I said, I have a lot of cash sitting on the side. So one of the ways that I choose to make my money work for me is to invest, is to invest into leap options and to invest into stocks as well. So when I see something on my radar that's worth talking about it, I'm just going to put it to your awareness. And if you guys want me to continue to make these, I can. So the first one is going to be JetBlue. Now, here's what I like about JetBlue. It is extremely oversold, basically at all-time lows, right? And in terms of catching the bottom, this is one way how you can potentially do it. One thing that I've studied about JetBlue is I find it very, very hard to lose money if you are buying this stock when it's oversold, hitting new lows, when it just closed as a green bullish week. So this is a weekly chart of JetBlue. And what I'm telling you is if you just study every single time this stock sells off hard, sells off hard, sells off hard, when it has that first green closing bullish week, it tends to spike a little bit higher, even if it continues to go lower. So basically what I'm saying is, worst case scenario, in my opinion, at these prices, with this previous green closing week is, worst case scenario, it's going to spike higher before it potentially goes lower. But one thing you need to understand about stocks is they have their biggest moves in their best spikes when they're at their lowest, which is something that JetBlue is at. So those are the confirmations on why I'm very bullish. And this would be my most confident one. I'm more confident in this situation than GameStop based off of the current chart. So that's the play on JetBlue. If you were to take it, I think now is a good time and a good price. And in terms of like adding, it's complicated because this is at all-time lows. It's extremely oversold. It is hard to catch a bottom, but based off the weekly chart, I do believe the bottom can be potentially occurring in a sense for the short term. Now, one thing to focus on is the overall chart. So just look at like the 10-day, 30-minute chart. I'm just going to do a quick analysis on this, and this will help you as well in terms of just detecting its overall price action. So in order to flip super bullish, it needs to break above 475 and then turn that into support. If it can break above 475 and form a floor at 467 and 475, then that's going to be a great confirmation to be buying if that occur. If it cannot occur, then I would just wait a little bit and I would just keep it on your radar, keep it on your sidelines for potentially buying towards $4.50. That's a great price as well, $4.45 if it goes bearish for the micro, right? But based off the daily chart, man, this just looks bullish. I've seen this before when stocks slant sideways like this, and this is a very bullish reversal pattern. What's going to send this? I'm telling you, what's going to send this up? Break above 475, pulls back, forms support, forms higher support. It's going to start to rocket. Keep an eye on this, man. It's a very bullish pattern, and it's a very simple price action to just identify if it's forming a floor at higher support or at previous resistance after it breaks out. And if not, I would just target a dip buying opportunities towards 445. That's a great entry if it goes bearish first, right? So this all on the daily looks super bullish, and the weekly chart looks super bullish as well. You got this green reversal, trend reversal weekly candle, and now it's trying to go green on the week. And like I told you, in terms of the pattern, when it sells off hard, it tends to spike higher first on a green candlestick on a dip for the most part, right? So I would say worst case scenario, man, if it doesn't spike higher first within time and this goes lower, it spikes back to the higher level. And then you just sell your original shares for break even, but you average your cost down. So I would say like worst case scenario is, say we get a bullish confirmation at 475 and you decide to buy towards there. If this drops back to 430, just buy towards that price, average down if it goes lower, and then just sell it at 475 for profit. I genuinely believe that's our worst case scenario. And like I said, if it goes bearish first, just look to get in at 445. That's the game plan, and that's the trade idea for JetBlue. Now, in terms of what you can potentially do if you're not just trying to do shares and you're trying to do some call leap options, what I would look into is I would give yourself some time just in case, and I would be targeting, I would say, let's take a look at the contracts right here. So I would play it safe and go with a $5 strike. If you want to play it super safe, go with a $4 strike. That would be the safest route to go. If you want to play it super safe, go with the $4 strike. If you want to play a little bit riskier, you're going to pay 50% less, which is the advantage. So if you want to play a little bit riskier, you do $5 strike. And if it drops, then you start adding when $4 strike becomes cheap. That's a way to play it. But in terms of the contract prices, man, let me just quickly look over these here real quick. So what I would do in this situation, I would look into March 15th. That's more than enough time. And they're very, very cheap. Look into March 15th. Look into January 19th. That's all you need on this particular situation, right? So those are the ones that I would recommend. The $4 and $5 strikes. If you want to play it safe, go with $4. Now, this is going to be the next one. So in terms of this one, it's going to be a little bit tougher. I'm not as confident that it has bottomed exactly, but I do want to put it on your radar because I think it can be a good opportunity within the future, right? So in terms of confirmations, I'm not as confident that it's bottomed yet, but it could potentially have. But this is what I'm keeping an eye on in terms of GameStop. So in terms of, the overall chart, one thing I want you to pay attention to in terms of this week, I want you to see if this weekly candlestick can close kind of bullish. So if the weekly candlestick looks like this, where it's like a red pin pointing up, that means next week it's probably going to have a super bullish week. So I want you to see if this red weekly candle right before the weekends on Friday, I want you to see if it's popping, if it looks bullish, if it's forming that red pin. If so, then it's likely going to spike next week. So that's one thing that I'm watching for. I will be watching to see how the weekly candle looks on Friday. And this is the reason why. I already showed you patterns where when it was at key support and it formed that red candle like this, overall it pushed higher, right? That's one reason why. But this is another reason why. If you look right here, there is strong previous resistance that has not been tested on GameStop. So it's going to try to spike first. That's what it's going to try to do. But here's the issue. The issue is, in terms of this previous resistance, it's a little bit complicated to identify where the exact bottom would be. So you would have to average down in a sense. But I'm going to go back and show you what it is that I'm talking about, because this is the first time that GameStop is testing that previous resistance. So take a look at this. This right here was resistance on GameStop. You can see the resistance was forming right around here at $14.30. And there was also some resistance at a lower level at $12. So that's the zone. The zone is like $11.40, $12. That's the lower zone. The higher zone is where we're at right now in the 14s. So it could potentially drop to $11.30 to $12 before bottoming. But the point is, in between this zone, it's going to try to spike and go super bullish as time passes within time, right? It's supposed to try to turn this previous resistance into support. It's just the thing is it's a zone. So you can take some starters here if you see a bullish confirmation. And one of the bullish confirmations I'll be looking for is to see if it closes the week kind of bullish. See if we can get that nice red pin towards Friday. That'd be some confirmations to take some nice starters. And then if it drops, you add towards $11.30 to $12. So if you're not going to cut your loss quickly, the only way to average down successfully on an investment, in my opinion, is to just wait for a big drop. So you either get out quickly, cut your loss, or if you're going to hold your hopes, then you wait for a big drop. You wait at least 25, 30%. You don't go dollar averaging your cost into small little tiny drops, bundling all your money up in a terrible average. If you're going to hold an average down, you do it on big drops only. Forget dollar average costing. So that's how I look at investing. If you're not going to cut your loss quickly and you're going to hold, then you better make sure that it's going to be a big drop that you're going to add on. That way you get a solid average, right? That's the opportunity that I'm seeing for GameStop. The movie out right now, Dumb Money, it's only going to help the stock. It's not going to make it worse, right? The dumb movie that just came out that's based on GameStop, right? It's only going to help it. It's not going to hurt it, in my opinion. And like I said, we're looking at that weekly candle and we're looking at this previous resistance to react to support. One of the trading strategies that I use is I identify where previous resistance was. All of the resistance was in the 14s, 13s, 1150s. This is all your resistance. GameStop had a massive breakout above that resistance. It went all the way to $90. This is the first time that it's testing that previous resistance. So it's going to try to form a floor first in that zone. Even if it tries to go lower in the future, it's going to try to bottom in that zone first, spike nicely, and then sell off again. That's what it's going to try to do, man. And if you just look at the past history of this stock, it has great potential of spiking. It has great dip buying opportunities where it's bottomed at similar prices. You can see it bottom several times here in the 1550s. It's finally cracking through towards that lower level. Another thing that I like about this is the daily chart. We just got a very nice bullish trend reversal daily candlestick on the daily chart towards that previous resistance level that was never tested yet. So this is bullish, which is great. And there's gaps to fill above. There's gaps to fill above at 1650. There's gaps to fill above at 1540. I would be shocked in the future if GameStop did not go back up to 1650. You know, right here, there's a gap to fill at 1650. Within time, I would be shocked if it didn't go back up there. And then when it goes up there, that's make or break. It's going to try to drop first, have a gap, close reversal. But we do have gaps that are waiting to fill above at 1880. So in terms of the future is limitless towards that $18 zone. But it is going to try to drop first at 1650. So I would just sell there personally. So that's my overall views. That is two opportunities that I wanted to put on your radar. I think JetBlue, we got that kind of green light, and GameStop, we're going to be watching it closely heading into this week and Friday. So that's what's on my radar, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do within this information. I'm simply pointing you into stocks that I'm interested in potentially, you know, making leap options on, making investments on. And as you can tell, I like going with stocks that are extremely oversold, right? That have big opportunity to spike, that tend to recover, that have that spikeability factor. So this should give you a better understanding on some of the things I'm looking for in terms of the charts, the technical analysis. And then if you want to do it even better, do your own research, do your own due diligence about the financials, about whatever is going on with the company. That's something that you should look into as well, because I'm just giving you the full technicals, right? Because that's what I am. I've mastered price action. I mastered technicals. All the other stuff in terms of investing, you should be looking in terms of doing your own research in that situation, because I'm currently not providing that for you. So I'm going to leave it off at that. If I do decide to do anything, of course, I will let my team know first within Trader Society, and I'm going to be signing off. I will see you guys within the next lesson.